Well, ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome at our today's discussion, at our panel discussion that is supposed to examine the COVID pandemics and actually in the relationship with new technologies and new ways to respond to such a crisis. Uh, I would like to welcome all of you at this, I would say, very lofty place at the Czech Technical University. Uh, I would also like all of you who actually join us online around the globe via the network of the Czech centers. This is a discussion that is going to take part as a in the framework of the series called Global Science Café, which is actually a program designed by Czech centers to present and promote Czech science around the globe, achievements of our scientists, some remarkable products and inventions. We believe that it's very timely to devote today's discussion to a subject that has been with us for some time already, and I'm afraid that many of you might got a little bit tired by the continuing influx of news about the numbers of people infected, people in severe health conditions, the very dire economic consequences of the pandemic, disruption of our everyday life, and so on and so on. But today we would like to approach this very, I would say, difficult subject from another perspective, and from a perspective how people are able to come together, work together across various teams in order to actually respond to a critical situation. And I believe that once again, we have been witness of, I would say, genuine efforts of our people to improvise and possibly actually find some very flexible solutions. And actually, from this perspective, it's a story not only about a crisis, but a story about people who are able to react and people who are able to develop a new ways of working together, developing new technologies and new products. I think before we start, I should say that we have something like 50 minutes to our disposal, during which any of you who actually join us over here in the auditorium or over there at the other end of the digital channel, raise a question, any question to our distinguished panelists. Moreover, the session, I understand, will be recorded, so those of you who will not be able to stay with us the whole time can come back and replay our debate. So feel free and relaxed, and actually we would very much appreciate your active involvement. I believe it's high time for me to actually introduce our panelists. I will start with Vice Professor Wojciech Petráček, the rector of the Czech Technical University. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
I would like also welcome Mr. Šimon Válcel, who's actually a leader of a team coordinator rather at the Faculty of Biomedical Engineering of the Czech Technical Universities, and was involved in developing one of the products that we will see later on during our debate. I would also like to welcome Mr. Pavel Burget.
Good afternoon.
Who is actually the head of Industry 4.0 testbed facility, which is actually important equipment for bringing together the industry and the Czech Technical University research at CTU. And last but not least, obviously, I would like to welcome as well Mr. David Miklas, who has many roles and has worked in many environments, but have been also a leader of the govmask.cz initiative, which actually was led to one of these products that we will see today.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Once again, welcome to all of you. And I believe that it's very timely for us to actually introduce to us something, some data and some information about the whole endeavor at the Czech Technical University that was designed to cope with the pandemics. Many of you have heard, I believe, that in the Czech Republic some protective equipment was developed in a very, I would say, timely fashion. And actually, some of the products have been well known around the globe. Some of them have been actually made available in some places where the situation was rather critical in previous months. So I believe the best possible way to start with that introduction is to give the floor to Mr. Rector Petracek to actually tell us about his involvement in this process, and possibly to tell us something what seems to be quite unique, and which is the story of people come from the academia coming together with people from the private sector and to reaching out to other experts actually, and developing some solutions in a way that I dare to say many of us would deem to be impossible just before the crisis starts. So, Mr. Professor, if you would like to say something about this initiative and about possibly the Czech Technical University as well.
Sure, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once more. Welcome at the premises of our one of the newest buildings of our university, Czech Technical University in Prague. Our university is broad scope technical university, the oldest one in Czech Republic. And actually we cover all the technical disciplines, and therefore I think this is a good place where we were intrinsically prepared to respond to the crisis which appeared a couple of months ago. It was a great challenge for us, I would say, since nothing was prepared. It was very unexpected events which occurred at the end of January, and suddenly we were facing the situation when the university started to think how to help in improvised measures for population, how to help people prepare some equipment which they could use at home, for example, face masks or face covering shields. Of course, then we thought about more complicated technological solutions, which will be presented by our colleagues from several teams developing these solutions for respirators, for ventilation units, for full face masks of the FFP3 high quality measures which protects doctors or very exposed staff of services dealing with the infection. So we started as soon as the events has shown that the emergency situation is here, and what we did was, I think, example of very fast response. Within a week or 10 days, several solutions which will be described here started to appear, started to be prototyped for of course, it's also very nice application of the Industry 4.0 concept, which allows this very fast turnover of from design to the product. And we really witnessed a wonderful cooperation between many companies, bigger or smaller, cooperating with the university to finish the product based on some ideas born at the university. And together we really built and prepared several products which are at this moment commercial. And I think these products are helping people and were helping people on a non-commercial basis during the crisis. And this is very important, that many people really supported the idea of helping people, helping doctors, helping exposed staff, even by giving money, which we then transferred to the products, and these products were given to the people in need or in danger. So I'm really happy that we managed to do this startup phase and to help during the crisis. And we are looking into the future where we would like to do this in more countries and to help worldwide as the university and affiliated companies will be able to do. And I think that's enough for introduction.
Thank you very much, Mr. Professor, for this providing the broader picture. And I believe I would like to invite the colleagues actually who can present the concrete products. I think which is more important. And so I would like to invite Mr. Pavel Burget actually to introduce us the story, if I may say so, of developing in a very speedy manner a face mask that actually in the end were produced, are being at the moment produced at the industrial scale, so which I believe is a really fascinating story. So if you can tell us some words on that, and I understand there will be as well some presentation or document to be screened as well. So if I can invite you to share with us your story.
Okay, thank you. So I've been involved in the project of the safety half mask, which is called RP95-3D, which means that the half mask was printed or has been printed on a 3D printer. The story started by a visit of two doctors from WHO here at the Czech Institute of Informatics, Robotics and Cybernetics. And at that meeting, an idea came up if it was possible to print protective equipment, protective mask or a respirator, in fact, at the beginning, at the 3D printer. So we accidentally managed to start running a modern 3D printer of industrial grade from HP a week ago, a week before this moment. So it was really new equipment, and we really printed a few pieces of few parts at this printer before, and we. After the original idea from WHO doctors, we got an idea how this half mask could be designed, and we started designing the mask, which now looks like this. And thanks to the technology, we were able to produce approximately one prototype each day. So there were 7 or 8 prototypes of this half mask before we were able to get a certificate according to the European standard that relates to the protective equipment. So it took 80 days exactly from the from the initial idea to the first to having the certificate and to having the opportunity to offer this half mask to the people in the first line, to the doctors, to the nurses, and to all who need it to be protected. So what is really interesting of this mask is that it's designed to have a replaceable filter, which has a standardized thread screw, so it can be produced by any company producing filters. And this filter is replaceable so that the mask can be used for a long time and is not limited to the time when the filter, or during the time when the filter is clean. So what is also worth mentioning that it was a special time because of some, let's say, relaxation of the European Commission regulation. It was possible to execute the certification tests within a few days. So thanks to all these, let's say, issues or all these circumstances, it was possible to achieve the certified product in 1 week. The certificate is valid for 3 months, so now it's coming to its end, and we are going to prolong the certificate to have a full European validity through the whole European Union. So we are going to finish the certification test soon, so that it fully complies the European standard, and then it will be valid through the whole European Union. What is also important that at the time when we finished the design, we released the data for the printers to be freely used by anyone who owns this type of printer, so that the data were downloaded from our website, which is rp95.cz. So they were downloaded from this website by more than 90 companies from more than 40 countries in the world. And for example, US Navy has downloaded the data and has been printed the masks. Companies from Spain were downloading them during the peak of the crisis in Spain. So really, we were really happy that we could help people around the world to fight against the pandemic. Next phase of the development was that we started working on another model of the mask, which has been designed to be able to produce in a mass production through injection molding. And I can say now that together with cooperation with other companies like Cardam or the startup company of CVUT called Trix Connections. So now this mask received a full certificate last week, and now it's really ready for mass production. So the production has been prepared. Now we are able to produce tens of thousands of these masks each week, and the production capacity is going to be higher. So within, let's say, 3 months from the beginning, we have a fully certified product that can be produced in a massive production, and we expect hundreds of thousands of the masks to be produced in the following time. As you saw in the video, in the document, or let's say video describing the process. It was really a hard time at the beginning. We spent a lot of time, a lot of hours working on the model, working on preparation for the certification and so on. But you could also see that the team was keeping together, and it really opened new possibilities to us. And so this is one point of view from the view of the development and research team, and it also opened possibilities for industrial cooperation. So we announced the news that we need help from companies, from academia, not only in the Czech Republic, but also from the partners, from our scientific partners in the Europe and in other countries. And this challenge was answered very positively, and we received many answers offering help. We used many of them, and as a result, these masks are here, and also as a result, the data for the 3D printers are available, still available to be used throughout the world. So I think it's now all for this part of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burger. Absolutely fascinating story about such a speedy development from the very initial phase of responding to some need, actually, and in the 3 months leading up to the phase of really massive production and industrial scale. I think it's an inspiring story from all of us. At this moment, I would like to pass on to Mr. Šimon Válcel, actually, who is as well from the academia and was a coordinator of efforts and work in development of another very important piece of equipment, which is actually the Corovan, which is the ventilator used for treating the patients in dire conditions in the hospital. So if you can follow
yes, thank you.
Please on this story.
Well, I should have spent the whole spring in Israel, but because of coronavirus, I had to come back. And in the first week after I came back, Professor Roby called me and asked me if I want to join the team and try to develop an emergency ventilator. And I have to say that we succeed. We have developed an emergency ventilator for crisis situations. We have designed it at the Faculty of Biomedical Engineering in the team led by Professor Robeek, and I can show you the whole unit was designed according to protective ventilation principles. On the front panel, we can see the intuitive touchscreen, 2 rotary knobs, and 2 manometers, which shows the pressure in patient. It was designed in accordance with all the safety, technical, and quality standards, accordance to electrical safety and biocompatibility. And I've been watching many designs of ventilators around the whole world, and big companies like Dyson or Tesla, they failed, and I'm happy that our team has managed to produce something so complicated. But I think it shouldn't be just about the ventilator, but a lot of students from our faculty, they help to pensioners, and many students help to distribute all the face shields colleagues produced. So I'm happy for our team. What can I say more about our ventilator?
About mass production, maybe.
About mass production, yes. Right now we are producing every day new ventilators. We have got, I think the right number is 380 right now. But it's not, the whole thing is not finished. We are still working on clinical trials, and also we are still doing long-term testing.
If you can elaborate it a little bit on how was the collaboration between the researchers and the,
Yes,
I
yes,
would say,
yes.
private sector people who actually
Yes,
should.
for me it was a big experience because I was used to work just with people from our faculty, and it was really nice to see the cooperation between the private sector and between our academic students or co-workers, because it's really nice to see their how they see it differently. They can we know how to what we want, but we can't really develop it. So they helped us how to develop it and produce it.
So maybe I should add that the ventilator is produced in Miko company,
Yes.
which is working on the license of the Czech Technical University. These licenses are actually two, one for the crisis period. This is free of charge, and then the standard commercial for the future, actually. And I think this was extremely interesting experience with a young growing company, also helping us to come with product into this phase, very nice finished product, waiting for FDA and then the local approval for use. And I think there is a great future for this product.
Thank you very much. I think we have been just presented the two brand new products developed at the Czech Technical University, products that actually are ready for industrial type of production for future consumption with the collaboration with the private sector. And I think we will come back to these products later on. But we should not forget about another product actually developed at the CTU, which was more about responding to the actual needs, more about the improvising based on what was then on the market, like even in the retail shops, so that people can use this protective equipment soon in their needs. So I would like now to invite David Miklas to tell us a little bit more about the full face mask that was actually developed together again with Czech Technical University and the framework of the initiative that has become in the meantime quite known, which is called the COVID-19.cz. Please.
Thanks for having me. Let me introduce the project. I was a leader of COVMask.cz, which was improvised protection equipment, and in a very short time we developed this thing, which is a snorkel mask, and we connected it to professional filter. The idea came up middle March, and from the very beginning we were supported by Czech Technical University, and thanks for that. And the first version actually was the snorkel mask connected with a filter from a vacuum cleaner, which is the HEPA filter, which is also working as first version of the connector was 3D printed with the support of commercial companies like Prusa printers. We were able to produce 700 pieces a day of this stuff, and that was the reason why we were able to scale up the production fast. It was not enough, so then we switched to injection molding. So we were able to produce 2,000 of those masks a day. So the complete production number was 30,000. We distributed more than 22,000, and something like 8,000 we are having on stock right now to be prepared for next wave if there is some. I hope there will not be something like that and no need for more masks, but who knows. So the whole cars for distribution. Also, we had the pilots with the small planes distributing those masks around the whole Czech Republic. We delivered some masks abroad where there was a need. So also, what I have to say, the whole project was supported by Decathlon, which is the inventor and manufacturer of those masks. And we were in touch with them in France, and they were surprised at the amount we were able to deliver to the hospitals and to the doctors. We also collected the feedback. The feedback was fantastic. We interviewed a lot of users of this solution, and we gained a lot of know-how. So therefore, we are working on now professional pressurized masks for professional use without any compromise. I have to mention this is improvised solution, and we hope we will not need any more improvised solution, and there will be time to develop professional unit. So this is it.
Maybe I would add one more sentence. Once you don't need this improvised solution, you can snorkel again. Yes, because
That's true. I forgot to mention that in every unit we packed this snorkel. So we can say now when it is time for holidays, doctors can convert it to diving or snorkeling vest, and they can take it for holidays.
So you can respond to a situation to your resort. Thank you very much. I think we have seen three very, very interesting presentations, and in my opinion, what actually is the underlying common story is the ability really to act quickly, to actually work together, people with different backgrounds, the researchers, students, entrepreneurs, the leadership of the university and partners outside like the healthcare workers and so forth. The question is actually what is the driving force of this dynamics? Is it, I would say, the Czech ingenuity, the ability to improvise, or is it as well actually the willingness of the university and the academia not to be only actually a place where people get their education, fulfill their careers, but really to respond to the needs of the society. And I think it's very important that the universities feel responsible for what is going on and are ready to help. And the same applies actually to the business. And there are companies that were not that often reported, at least in the Czech media, that suddenly actually appeared capable of really devising some solution and working together with our researchers. I don't know whether you would like to comment on that, but I think it's a very important point to underline.
So maybe I would like to comment. Of course, the ability of improvisation is deeply in our people here in Czech Republic, and of course it appears also at the universities, and especially at the technical universities, where you can really find nice examples of improvisation with equipment and finding solutions when they are not available. And this fact, under pressure of the crisis, of course, was multiplied. And what also helped was that all the barriers, the administrative barriers, disappeared suddenly, and we were able to do things which normally take many weeks in days, and really we were able to respond without a bureaucratic burden much faster. And this is something what we should remember for the future, and to try to work in this direction. And that would, of course, help not only to the fast development of solution here in Czech Republic, but I guess everywhere in the world where there is some problem with the bureaucracy.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yes, I have got one comment that I totally agree with our rector, and in addition, I think it was the students or all of us found energy in that we could save someone's life.
Well, actually, speaking about students, we have received first two questions, and I believe they are related to each other. I would read them out for everyone in the room. I'm not sure whether everyone has the chance to read them. So the question reads: how many students and teachers have been involved in total in different branches of research at the Czech Technical Universities, possibly related to the COVID as well? And whether you think that this campaign has brought a new students' interest in the technical studies.
Okay,
The
so
question is whether there is an increase in the number of candidates and admissions. Actually, I have to, before letting you know, reply, I have read just yesterday in the newspaper that the applications for Czech Technical Universities last year increased by some 15% or something. So I'm not sure whether it's already the impact of the initiative of CTU in responding to COVID. But as was said by Shimon, I think the feeling of the students that they can do something real to help people to actually see results of their work if their study might be something that might influence the decision making of the young people.
I agree that this kind of feeling that we can do something real and to help and to solve real situations may brought more attention towards the not easy technical disciplines. Of course, there are many easier ways of life in university life, but this is something what can bring something more important. And concerning the first question, which just disappeared now, I don't have exact numbers, but each of the teams mentioned here had about 10 to 20 members and of different kind, or teachers, or students, or entrepreneurs combined, or volunteers. And there was also one team which we have not yet mentioned. We did a production of disinfectant solution, which was produced in more than 100,000 liters to help to kill this germ. And then, and there are also about 20 people maybe were active. So I will not count the total number since it's not reliable, but in this ballpark of numbers.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Burget actually is the head of the test bed facility at the Czech Technical University, which is, I think, something very important, because it brings together even the students, not only the researchers, closer to the private sector, with the testing facility being the facility to actually test the solution for the industry. So do you think that equipment and opportunities like that actually attract students to actually consider their career as future engineers and researchers, technicians, and experts? Has there been any experience made so far since you actually procured yourself with this facility?
Definitely. The environment of testbed for Industry 4.0 is very attractive because it provides industrial grade equipment, and our idea is to build flexible production lines which can adapt to what is needed to be built, what is needed to be produced. And also what is important is that the user, the final user, is involved in the process of specifying what will be produced and also involved in the production process itself. So the test bed, we have created test bed to provide such an environment for the students, for the researchers, and for the companies. One of the most important factors that has allowed us to do it is the European project RECAPE, which is focused on distributed production, and one of our ideas is production as a service, so that we can link, we are going to link production sites and to design the production in such a way that it can be produced whenever and wherever needed, based on the current status and current capabilities of the production equipment. So this is the idea of the RECAPE project, where we cooperate with German Institute for Artificial Intelligence, DFKI, in Saarbrücken. By the way, one of the fathers of Industry 4.0, Professor Walster, comes from this institute. And there is also another partner in Germany, company Zema, also located in Saarbrücken. And then Brno University of Technology, SATEC, is another partner. So these partners form the core of our so-called distributed testbed. And the idea is that we open this core to other companies, other institutions, to connect their production equipment, their robots, 3D printers, and other pieces of equipment, so that the distributed production can be built. The example of 3D printing of the masks is really suitable for the distributed production. We designed the model, we prepared the production data, tested it at our site, at our printer, and then made it freely available to all others, to all other owners of such 3D printers, so that the distributed production could start right at the moment when the data were made available.
Thank you very much for raising this issue of production on demand, distributed production that actually responds to various customers and to their various needs. I believe that this COVID situation was actually the production on demand par excellence, because there was a necessity to act very quickly, and actually the whole philosophy that underlines the testbed facilities and the approach of CTU is very much in this need. So I would like to know whether you believe that these new products and other products we have not mentioned so far, because there are quite a few, is actually, in your opinion, kind of a catalyst of a new Czech industry, possibly industry with some, I would say, high added value, industry that is open to global markets, because as has been said already, much of the technologies have been made available immediately, so that people can download in Spain or elsewhere to develop this protective equipment. But it seems to me that it has been shown that our small and medium Czech enterprises are capable to work together with the academia and develop new products that could be put on the market, global market. So I would like whether you would like to comment on that from the perspective of view of the private sector and academia.
I would say that the pandemic situation in Czech Republic was a proof that a combination of business and university can develop very nice products in a very short time, and also the most important part, to distribute them to customers or users.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see a lot of projects. The 3D printing involvement in that was very important, because Czech Republic is a 3D printing nation. We have a Prussia Research. There were another companies. I also had one which was producing and manufacturing 3D printers, and we have a strong community which was able to help in a short time. So 3D printing is very important part of that process, because it can prepare small mass production in a days, which is not possible with another technology. There are some technological limits, but then you have a time to switch to more advanced technologies. So I would say the combination is very important and can bring us new things to the world which can help.
Thank you. You would like to comment, Rector?
I would like to say that the fusion of the environment of a university, full of ideas and academic research and deeply thought prospects of the future and the dynamic structures in the industry, especially in the SMI, small and medium companies. Once they got to work together and they understood each other, is very, very powerful project, which I think could and will be a part of the future of our industry, and I hope that we will contribute to this in our future projects.
Okay, thank you. In the meantime, we have received more questions. The first being, are there some new projects in process? I understand projects being researched or developed at the CTU or in the COVID framework. So if you would like to
Actually, it's not
elaborate.
anymore COVID framework. It's a partner company of the CTU.
Okay.
The Musk CZ is now the partner company. And there is a new development, I think David mentioned already. And we are preparing also a kind of face mask or face cover which would allow to be seen through. So the mimic problems, when we missed half of our face due to the face mask, could be solved. Also, I think that could be good for our psychology, and there are several other projects.
And I understand there are some applications to be developed for the what is called smart quarantine measures, like the
There are AI applications developed at our faculty of electrical engineering and some other, which really solve the problem of people who would like to avoid the large concentration of people. For example, if the pandemic situation appears again, and they are really used in this concept of smart or clever quarantine program.
Another questions I like very much is asking about international reactions and referring to the article published in the New York Times. The person who sent the question asked, which comment, report, or experience did you appreciate the most? I think it's a very nice question, and I understand there must have been a lot of appreciation expressed. It was already mentioned, but from your personal experience, what actually made you very happy and actually proud of being part of this endeavor?
Maybe I would start by a few words from my side. Actually, since here started the COVID Czechia initiative, which started the concept of masks for all, that we all have to bring something on our face to avoid the infection. And this really came to appreciation and use in 50 or 60 nations worldwide. And this, let's say, idea has more than 1 billion of reactions on the net. So I think that's for me the best appreciation of the work which originated here. Not only here, but in Czech Republic, that I like, that we really exported some idea from Czech Republic, which works.
We actually did indeed, and I think in the world media it was referred as a Czech experience. But I understand that this approach actually was based on some data, on some evidence. It was you developed as a team working with other partners, right?
That's true. We, in frame of this COVID Czechia team, we had a data analysis. Actually, I did in person the data analysis, and colleagues from virologists, health protection specialists, also communication specialists, because you have to deliver discover the idea in a way that it really works. And so based on this, once we saw that that really the face masks for all worked in the Czech Republic, we applied and we prepared the video for the world, and we exported the idea outside our republic.
Okay. So what made you happy, Shimon?
Well, for example, we received a box full of chocolates from one girl from Austria with a letter that she admires our work. So it was really nice and helpful.
And sweet.
Yes, and sweet.
Thank you. You would like to comment on that?
There were several comments and experiences with our half mask. Some from the doctors were when we supplied the first bunch of half masks to the doctors, so they were really happy to receive them and to be able to test them. Another groups of first-line workers, but I also must say that there were some seniors who were afraid of being infected, so they asked us if we can provide some half masks to them. So there were very nice reactions from many of them that thanked us for such work and such results. So it was really nice feeling that we can help people and that people are with us and appreciate the way we help.
Thank you. And I would say that people realized how important actually the education is and the research is, because it's not something else far away for some just people who study the subject, but there are situations when people really can help, provide in a very speedy, effective manner help, and I think people realize that, and many people are very proud of our researchers have achieved.
Maybe I can add to this that also the previous years, which brought us to the state where we are now, so to the equipment that we have, to the international contacts to other researchers and scientists that we have. So this work has proved to have sense and to bring results, even during the period where the work is executed. We don't know when the results come or what the results could be. We have some intentions, we have ideas, what we think that could be good, but no one of us would think of helping during the corona crisis. So this is something where the CTU is really good at, that we are able to prepare, to use the project, to use the research to prepare for some unexpected situations.
And David, you believe that this positive momentum, this positive actually feeling will endure in the future? Because I think the story is loud and clear. Despite the dire situation, the crisis that affected so many lives and that will impact our lives in the future as well, at least in terms of the economic situation and so forth, there's been a very positive momentum created among the entrepreneurs, the researchers, the people, because it was enabled by really many volunteers flocking together, working with you, distributing the material, you know. So what is your feeling? Is this just a momentum that would fade away, or is it something new has been created that we can build on?
I hope we will find a way how to continue, and of course we have to get back to our normal lives, and also we have to continue all the administrative steps which are needed to develop the products which were stepped over during the crisis. So the time to develop new product will not be the same short like it was, but I hope we will be much faster than normal.
Yeah.
And maybe if I can react to the previous question,
Absolutely.
I have a nice story regarding the feedback we received from the doctors, and it was a video recorded from the team of doctors swimming with the mask on the office chair, and they recorded the video and sent to us. So it was very nice
So
moment.
it's versatile. Yes. Any comments, Hector?
And I do believe in this kind of cooperation in the future. Of course, as David mentioned, it will not be so easy because all the procedures are a little bit longer. It's not so straightforward to get ahead with some projects. But I think since we know that it works, if needed, so maybe we will change the rules or we will find a way how to do things more efficiently and much faster.
We were able to present it's possible to do that in that
Yeah,
way.
sure. Another question just arrived. I'm afraid we are closing to the end of our debate, but I would hate to miss the question. In the last decade, more and more people question the role of elites. Do you believe that the current need for expert solution will bring a new confidence in science and experts? Can it create a better situation for scientific research and universities, namely in the Czech Republic? And I believe this is a very heavy debate going on about the role of, I would say, science, evidence, and people who actually devise some solution based on some knowledge, and being under attack from many places. So would you like to shortly comment on that?
Sure. I think that we have proven this whole bunch of universities, not only CTU and the companies working together, we have proven that the universities are part of the critical infrastructure of state. It's everywhere like that, and I think especially in a kind of situation as was this, but in general, they should be treated like that. They should really have enough attention and resources to build their academic knowledge and academic ideas into drawers, which can then be taken out and you have solution in a couple of days. Actually, the ventilation unit, this is a outcome of 20 or more than 20 years of research of Professor Robik. And now it really was prepared to be solved and commercialized in weeks. But you would never be able to develop this from the scratch without this academic knowledge. So I think universities are a very important base for the future, and I hope that this crisis will help to explain this in plain words to the society.
And actually, I would like to explain if we mean by elites, people who are working hard, have achieved remarkable results that other people, we can call them elite, but this is elite in my opinion. This is the people who actually use their talents and their knowledge to develop something new. And in this regard, I believe we need elites and we need people like you at the CTU and elsewhere. Because we are closing almost, but I would like to invite everyone who has a question to pose to do it now. So I see someone in the auditorium, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am the ambassador of Chile. I have to say that during the pandemic, one of the nicest reports I have written was about this effort by the Czech Technical University and the mask and this generous offer to give this open data for the printers owners, and it was very impressive. And in fact, afterwards, I witnessed all those developments as well, and it's one of the key questions was posed by the moderator. I mean, what was this driving force? The rector mentioned the improvisation characteristic of the Czech and working under pressure. But also, you said something that I would like, if you could elaborate a little further. It was, you said the administrative barriers disappear. And I will place myself another bit of question. What were really the problems or the difficulties in that collaboration? And the reason why I am asking this is because from the technical point of view, there were in my country many initiatives similar, I would say. But what you have done, you have succeeded, is mass producing, distributing, and getting to health care professionals very quickly. And I don't think we have done that in Chile. Thank you very much.
So maybe I should explain a little bit what was the main measures which helped to ignite or to start the production or the very fast development. Of course, it depends a lot on the fast way how to acquire money or how to support financially the development. So that happened on several ways. It would be too slow to wait for projects or whatever is done in an official way of competitions. Mm-hmm. So what we did were actually from the side of the university, we helped by several millions of crowns at the start to just use them. In this campaign, we financed a lot. Then the people collected a lot of money, which sent for dedicated purposes, and then the equipment has been delivered. And also some banks, private banks, acted fast, and they cover some expenses. So the fast delivery of easy money, how to say, not very slow process of administration of projects, helped a lot. And I think this is a matter of working like in the industry, where it must go much faster. It's not so usual in the academic environment, because this kind of money is not usually available as fast.
Possibly if I made something, I stand to be corrected by my distinguished colleagues, but it seems to me that it was important, and has been said several times during our debate, that actually the new products and the development of the new products was built from the very beginning on something that already existed. Technologies, equipments, even what you can buy at a retail shop, which is a dive mask, right? And I think it was a wise approach, the capability of the researchers and the industry actually to not to wait for magic solutions sometime in the future, but actually procure what's available and try to develop a product that would develop the service. And I think it was very important. And it was based on long-term research and education and training at the Czech Technical University, it seems to me, because the Corona van actually equipment uses much of the development, actually builds on much of the development that had been done before. And I think it's important. It's this actually ongoing expertise.
In most cases, that's true. What David and his friends brought here was the external solution, which we supported, as I said, and we helped also to realize the production directly here in the rectorate building downstairs. So it's a combination of what was in the drawers, what was in the heads of researchers, how we could help, how we could help to organize from the point of rector, for example, because actually I'm really proud that I could spend so much time with colleagues from all these teams to help, and I think this way it should work simply.
Mm-hmm.
I would also add that it was really important the help of industrial companies. So
sure.
Definitely the crisis stopped the automotive industry at all. So there are many companies here who are strictly tightened to the automotive industry, and they stopped their work from day to day, from one day to another. So many of such companies responded to our challenge, or to our to our challenge, if they can help. And that's one part of the story, but the other is that they really felt responsible to help finding the solution.
And one last question, possibly. We have touched upon that already, I believe, but the question actually underlines the importance of cooperation between business and scientific institution, and raises a question whether it's likely to happen that this cooperation carries on even when the economic crisis continues, and whether actually, if I may emulate a little bit, it's one of the solutions how to cope with the upcoming crisis, because we know that the industry everywhere has been heavily hit, and we will need some innovative solution again to rebuild the industry on demand, actually. So if you can just briefly touch upon that, whether you really believe that this is an example that will actually continue and will be the I would say springboard for our efforts.
I would say that there are two ways of the answer. First, we will elaborate and develop more the products needed in this direction, which we have discussed, the health crisis management. And the second, and that will help, of course, to cope with a segment of crisis and to help the people to withstand the troubles maybe ahead. And the other more let's say general view is that we have learned something about the society, about the universities, about how the universities can help, and now we can work on the plan what the society should do better, or what are our thinkings about what universities and industry can do better for the society, and put this on the paper to have better strategic plans for the future. Mm-hmm. And that will definitely help to overcome the crisis.
You would like to comment on that?
Well, I would say that it strengthened the cooperation, and so that means it has a it's important to keep going in that way and find new solution, but we don't know what it will be needed. So we have tools to find a lot of solutions for a lot of problems, and now we have to look around and see what is needed.
Okay. Well, I'm afraid that our time is up. I would like to thank everyone for I consider a very interesting, terrific discussion. But before we end, I think we should give a very, very loud round of applause to all of our innovators, because I think they really deserve it. Thank you very much.
Děkuji. Tak.